think we'd scaled largely from referral. So it was time to run a process with an external party that had done it before, that didn't know us, that could have an unbiased perspective, bridging that gap of what we did very well, that we knew about internally, but the outside world didn't know about. There was a few. So it was a level of internal clarity that was missing with the team. Because we were hiring new people, I wanted to ensure that we all, the new people joining and the current internal people, even for the existing team, because the company had evolved, I knew what the answers were in my head, but I needed it to be packaged up in a way that wasn't me just yapping at people for 30 seconds and expecting them to get it. So there was as much of an internal need to understand positioning as there was external. So I think there's internal clarity, which is not there's not a KPI, but there could be actually, you could have a qualitative survey. Then there was a need to be able to feed that into all of our marketing activity. I don't like repeating things. I like to do something once. So if I'm having to repeat myself about what the company does or have to go through the process of onboarding, I don't really want to do that. And if I'm having to do that, it means we're missing assets, means we're missing a clear narrative. I identified that I had to keep doing the same thing 2 to 3 times, which means that something's wrong. I ran the process in parallel with onboarding Aaron. So Aaron was the VP of sales. So I got to help articulate in a better way. It helped my brain understand the direction we're going by working with him. But then I realized we're going to have to do it again with everybody else in the team. That's what spurred it on. And then I knew that we were going to scale our marketing more aggressively. We hadn't updated the website in 3 years. I know that the website needed to be as much as a recruitment tool as it, even also as a recruitment tool, because all our marketing funnels run separate to the website. We've had a few goes at this internally, and it didn't quite work. So I think one of the reasons is that the internal team have their own set of beliefs as to what we do, which creates this big delta, particularly for me as the founder, because my job isn't to articulate what we do, it's to redefine the vision of where we're going. So if I have someone internally in the team who doesn't have the level of exposure that I do across the entire company, they just don't have the depth of understanding, even historically, as to what we've really done as a company. And then they have no chance about understanding what the future holds, because thankfully for them, they're not in my head thinking about this shit all the time. So it just didn't work. There's too many biases. And then even if they did get it, there's time constraint. This is like what you guys have done. It takes a lot of thinking time. It's a hard one to find. It's a really hard one because it's as much about, firstly, I only wanted to find a small team where I knew that the founder was still involved. And then I always know that, just like with me when the company was smaller, the founder is going to be so careful with who their number 2 is. And the number 2 is by default going to be a better person because they like to have that exposure and default accountability. So I think that was important. I didn't want a big company. The second reason was you had already produced what I wanted to produce, which was like the Moz case study. And then the Moz one was a really interesting one as well, as you're taking in terms of internet, a business that was a fast mover on not only, on the technology space, that had to reinvent themselves in a very crowded marketplace. And then I intentionally wanted to find a group that had worked across more SaaS that still would have exposure to service-based companies would use. So we weren't finding someone that just positioned service-based businesses with service-based businesses. We're positioned more in a more lethal arena of SaaS and technology. So I wanted someone that had performed in that space. The structure was very clear. I knew what was going to happen when it was going to happen. Communication was really fast in Slack. The interplay between both of you two was very good. Process had clearly been well thought out and it just worked. So I'm a very high touch communicator. And I only get frustrated in cases where I don't know what's going to happen. So to people, I can seem like a hemorrhoid, but I'm only a hemorrhoid if someone's a bad communicator. If someone says, here's the plan, here's what we're going to do, here's who's going to own it, this is what's going to happen, you'd say it. And I think you guys would probably describe me as an annoying client, maybe. But that is the result of the excellent communication and structure. There was lots of very, very positive moments, but I think the oh shit delivery moment was on the canvas where I've seen lots of things, I've done lots of things. So then to have a wow moment is always really nice. It was the value proposition canvas. And it's just by chance that we're doing all of this at a time where we have AI. AI is only as good, of course, as the context and the quality and the structure of the information. So I use this all the time for everything. So it was nice, the delivery of the deck. I've been using this as soon as you gave it. It just makes everything so easy. I think the thing that stood out was the structure and the precision and professionalism of just sticking to the dates that you said and always over delivering as well. So there was never a moment through the process where I was ever underwhelmed. What was great also about the process is that a lot of the on the way deliverables, like the positioning canvas, ended up being a delivery in terms of the actual end product versus just as along the journey. I didn't expect that to have a lot of other resources that I'll be going back to. I'm not going to go back to a deck, but I will go back to this. Every marketing partner on board just had a holy fuck with how prepared and how clear we are on what we do. I think that would be a big one, really. It's how quickly it is. It's not even about the internal team. It's about how quickly you can spool up any external partner that you work with as well. I'd say it's a super tight process. So there's an excellent ROI and you'll get value in many more areas than you likely expected, even though you would have been satisfied with just one.